lives adjacent to the pool. So we've got the pool here, then we've got the aquarium, which is underneath here, and then you've got the lounge room. So you actually look through the fish tank into the pool. So nice infinity pool, beautiful fish tank, and it's surprisingly easy to service. Big tanks are very stable and tend to be easier to service. Now, if you ever do have a fish die for any reason, it's really important that you get the fish out straight away, because the fish can actually pollute the aquarium. Now, with an aquarium this big, it isn't actually a serious risk, but it is good advice, because you really don't want a fish rotting in your water, and so you want to get that out ASAP. Now, it's really important to know when your fish are skinny. So see this fella, how he's got a dip in his belly? We really don't want that. We also don't want the belly to really bulge out, but we want to be very aware of the bellies of the fish, because if the fish's bellies are too skinny, we need to feed the fish more. So in general, most of the fish in here are too skinny. If you do find that some of the fish are the correct weight and other ones are too skinny, it can be a reflection of the type or size of the food that you feed. If you feed very large pellets and the little fish are getting skinny, that could be an issue. Or if you feed very little pellets and the big fish are getting skinny, that can be the issue. So feeding the right size pellets is very important, and feeding the right quality of food is very, very important. So this tank gets fed very good food, but it is really important that we keep the food shut, because you can actually feed the fish stale food and they will not get nutrient out of it. So this is a relatively new packet, so I'm hoping that this is actually okay. But if you do leave your food like this, then it will go stale and your fish will not get the nutrients out of the food they want. So these Danichi is about the best quality food you can get, but there's no point getting super good quality food and then just letting it all go stale. So Danichi comes with a zip locker, and zip lockers are the best, because when you're using a zip locker, you want to push the air out and zip it shut every single time you use the food. Otherwise, once again, the oxygen will make the food go stale and then your fish will not get the nutrients they want. So in this case, we've got two pellets, that one and that one. And for this aquarium, the bigger fish are probably not as skinny as the smaller fish. So therefore, getting a smaller size pellet wouldn't hurt. Or it could also just be that the bigger fish hold their weight better than the smaller fish, which would make perfect sense as well. So this particular aquarium here definitely needs to be fed more. So once again, we want to be regularly looking at the bellies of the fish. And if we see the bellies going up, we need to feed more. If we see the big fat bellies, we need to feed less. So I've come to service this aquarium, and the babies have gone nuts this time. So the last few times that I've been here, the baby fish were very much under control, but these little babies have been getting bred very prolifically, and there is lots of little zebras that are appearing in this tank. So what I'm doing at the moment is draining some water out of this aquarium. So there's a tap here. I just open that tap up and that will drain water out. Then once I'm happy with the amount of water that I've removed, I don't ever want to remove more than about a third of the water. Then I want to get the hose in there as fast as possible and then start filling the tank back up again. I normally go down to about there. That's the sort of normal level that I go down to. And then I get the hoses in there and get it filled up, because it's going to take several hours to actually fill this tank up. And it is really important to remember to turn the hoses off, because this tank has an overflow, so it's not going to flood out onto the floor or anything. It's just going to go down the plumbing. But if you did totally forget and you leave the hose on for a long time, then eventually you'll flush the tank with chlorine, and that would actually kill the fish. So it is important to be aware when you're filling up the tank to sort of hang out with the tank and try not to get too distracted, because overfilling the tank can always be a problem. Fish that we've got in this aquarium, it's really good to know the fish that you've got, because the more you learn about the fish, the more you tend to enjoy them. But this school of fish here are called tinfoil barbs, and they're a beautiful schooling species. Now, in with them is also some silver dollars. Now, a silver dollar is directly related to the piranha, also from the Amazon, but is not aggressive. The males are the ones with the big orange hooks on the bottom of their fin, and the females have a very pointy red fin, such as that one. Now, this fella here is called a buttercophori. He's a very big, very intelligent tropical African species. This one here is called a dovii. He's from South America. We've got some beautiful Oscars. Now, Oscars are basically like a dog in a fish tank. They're a very, very interactive fish. They're like a pet fish. They're also from South America. This one here is a man-made fish called a parrot. Then these ones here are African cichlids. And there's various crossbreeds and various African cichlids running around the bottom. And then the tiny little ones are predominantly crossbred zebras, which are African cichlids. And then we've got a really beautiful green terror in the back there. And that's another South American fish. This fella is an ACI from Africa. Oh, and this guy's a jaguar. This is an absolutely beautiful fish here. That's another big South American cichlid. And then there is some plecostomus catfish in here as well. The catfish are the ones you'll see sucking on the glass. What else we got down the back there? Anyway, as more come out, I'll name them for you. But if you do go out of your way just to learn the names of these fish, you'll find that for some reason you just enjoy them and identify with them more. Keeping is basically 50% about water quality. So testing your water and understanding it on a, let's say, monthly basis is very important. And the other half of fish keeping is nutrition. The quality of the food you feed is absolutely what's going to give you the immune system of the fish. Now, this food here, Danichi, is top of the line food. It is a raw state food. It's very high in nutrient. Whereas this food here is a very low quality food. In this case, the fish actually didn't want to eat it. So they have got good standards. So feeding fish good quality food is absolutely everything. So go on for this one. Maybe feed that one to the dog. They've got a Labrador, they eat everything. Not sure if that's a good idea, but anyway. When we fill the aquarium up, we basically want to fill it up so it laps over there, and then that's basically full. So that would be about the eye level to the top here. Once you let it run for a while, the water will start going down. If you listen in the pipes here, you'll hear it going down, and that means it's full. And in that case, you're ready to turn it off. Getting a nice big magnet would be great. There are commercially available magnets that can keep this tank nice and clean. Now, when the food was introduced into this tank, these fish are used to quality food. And in this case, out of desperation, they've gone and picked up a bit of 2-minute noodles. And in this case, the fish have said, you can stick your 2-minute noodles, and they actually didn't eat it. And it's really important, which in this case it did happen, that the food that they don't eat needs to be removed. Otherwise, the food will rot and it will deteriorate the water quality, which is something that we absolutely do not want. So the temperature is currently 26.5, which I'm very happy with. Yet if the temperature does fall too low being like 22, then we definitely want to turn the heater up. That's the heater in the back corner. It's like a rod going up behind the bubbles. And if the tank is too hot, then you just want to make sure the heater's not coming on. But basically between 25 and 28 is ideal. Above 30 is bad, and say below 22 is bad. Now I just got some water out of the fish tank. Now what I'm going to do is test up the water, because once again, the quality of your aquarium is going to be 50% the food that you choose and 50% what the water quality is. Now, if this was my aquarium, and considering that the proximity of this house is sort of not that far away from Majestic Aquariums, I don't think I could be bothered testing my own water. I'd just pop a sample down to Majestic Aquariums. You want to bring a little video of the tank running so we can see what's going on, and bring a sample of water, like a little Vegemite jar, and then we can run it through our spin test machine. We can give you the results, and then we can also tell you what to do, assuming that any of the levels are incorrect. Because with a real big aquarium like this, the levels tend to go out very slowly, so therefore you want to rectify them before you actually have a problem. And the immune system of these fish would be very good considering the food that's fed. So a lot of my day is doing consultations like this, and then I will literally go to one house and all the fish are dying, and I'll test the water, and the water is pretty good, but the quality of food is bad. Then I can go to the next house and the fish can all be quite healthy, even though the water tests are actually quite bad, and but the food is very good. So it's really a matter of having both good quality food, which this is not, and good quality water.